Monet with Heroes, a song that is part of the compilation on the CD Beats for Beautiful Games, dedicated for the World Cup this year. But right now we're talking about exciting stuff. If you've ever thought about yourself in a career as a gamer, well, perhaps as a game writer and as a narrative director, then you might want to be like Andrew Walsh, who joins us this morning, and he's exactly that. I didn't even know, Andrew, that you could actually have this as a game. I mean, obviously we play the games on Xbox and on all kinds of consoles out there, but tell me about your job and how you came about being a games writer and a narrative director.
I think it's one of those things that anyone working in the area is still working out as a career as well. It's a bit like trying to work out that this time in the morning exists, and yet here we are. Yeah, it's good fun. I mean, I started playing games years back when the BBC computer came out. It's one of those things you see in sort of like stone paintings on caves, and it had 48K, which is more than most mobile phones sort of sneeze out on one button press. But yeah, so started off in playing games then, was writing for theatre, and when I first got into writing, and then realised that you could collide the two. All came down to getting drunk at a cricket match. And let's face it, many things start that way. And yeah, so I've met a games designer there. Games designer are the people that make games. So one common misconception when people talk about writing games is there are the people that do the programming, they're programmers. There's the people that design the gameplay, like all the things decide whether you run or jump or shoot. Those are game designers. What I do is the sort of weird and wonderful world of adding dialogue and story into all of the work that they've already done.
Okay, cool. We've had a lot of viewers write in recently and ask about how they can generate a career in video games. How does story writing like this, or narrative-driven scripting for games work, and like juxtaposed to movies or books?
Oh, well, it's a totally crazy upside-down world. If you look at the number of different types of games that have got writing in, if you take all the types of films, if you think about little B-movies, little short films, the massive blockbusters, anything that Peter Jackson gets his hands on, which then lasts about a month, any of those things, add in TV, add in theatre, add in books. Games are wider in the differences of writing for just writing for games than the differences between writing all of those different things. So if you pick up a little mobile phone game, if you think, well, a little game like Candy Crush, there's a few people play Candy Crush. There's even a little story in there. And there's a few words here and there, but then you compare it to a really big online game, there can be like sort of 500,000 lines in there.
Wow.
So you're looking at one game which has got a few lines of text through to lines that have got 500,000 or more lines of spoken dialogue. So it's a huge difference even within games.
So you've worked on a ton of big games out there. Can you name a few that some of the viewers out there might have played?
Oh, I've got a name drop now, do I?
Yeah.
I'm an Englishman, I don't do this.
I get really excited with this list. What, Halo 3? You worked on that?
Yeah, I can claim I worked on that, but that was only half a day, so it wasn't exactly me that created all of Halo 3.
Still, like if I walked to that studio, my knees would go weak and fall to the ground.
Yes, I worked on Halo 3 for half a day. Yeah, it was good fun.
That's huge, yeah.
I worked on that as a director.
Need for Speed?
Need for Speed, yeah, I did Need for Speed Most Wanted, the most recent Most Wanted. Obviously, as we've been talking before, and again, talking about multi-talented, this guy here, so crossing across journalism and illustrations.
That's why they call him G-Funk Delicious.
Yeah, this is great. But yeah, so Need for Speed, no story, but a lot of writing, because you've got to bring all of that world to life. So you've got all of the police cars talking and stuff.
I was actually going to ask this question because games like Harry Potter, which you've worked on a few Harry Potters and the Lego games, they clearly have a story. So if you've played that game at home, you'll know that they have some kind of narrative. What about games that don't have a narrative necessarily or don't need one? Like Candy Crush or Need for Speed, it's a racing game.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, the Harry Potter ones, you're asking me about how the different media work. So, I mean, if you think about Harry Potter's books being that thick, and then they come down to a film that's 2.5 hours, often in a game you've only got, say, like 15 minutes of cutscenes, which are the sort of film-like elements. So trying to tell the story in there is very different unless you bring interactive elements in there. But then for something like Need for Speed, you might not have the story, but you've got several thousand lines of dialogue in there to bring the world alive. Yeah. So if you're walking around, I mean, I've been walking around the studio this morning listening to everybody talking, you've got everybody really excited. If it was silent, it would be a bit of a dead place, you wouldn't believe you were here. Whereas out in game worlds, you want to do the same thing, make it feel alive, make it feel exciting.
So how do you get into it? If I'm at home right now and I like my games, I like reading my stories, how do I, as a teenager, start my journey into games writing?
Anything which involves writing is a good start, because people are often afraid of writing. One of the common things you hear about, how to become a writer? I want to write. then write. Pick up a pen, pick up a keyboard, well, so then put it down again and use it. But keep using the keyboard, keep writing, keep creating, and then play a lot of games, see what's out there. A lot of companies are now beginning to find games writers, so they're advertising. It's now actually a job that's advertised. So about 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't really, and now it's been created.
Yeah. Fantastic. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us. And as you guys heard, it's as easy as that. I mean, get your mind engaged, read, write, be creative, get yourself out there. And who knows, you could be the next Andrew Walsh. Stay tuned to your Field of Breakfast show. We'll be right back.